I'm MDS and our topic of discussion in this video is casting defects. So before going through this part of the video, I would recommend watching the first part, that is casting techniques, because understanding of casting defects relies quite a bit on understanding of casting techniques. So now, as we have seen how the casting procedure is done, we'll now move on to see the defects that can happen during this process of casting. So these defects in casting, they can be classified under following four types. One is the distortion, second is surface roughness and irregularities, third is porosities, fourth is incomplete or missing detail. So we'll move on to one after another through these headings. So coming to our first heading, that is distortion, coming to the first type of defect, that is distortion. Distortion is most commonly a result of distortion of the wax pattern. Now the wax pattern which is prepared initially on the die, while it is prepared, while it is transferred to the investment, while it is burnt out, during all this process there is a lot of possibility of distortion of the wax. Now this distortion, it increases once the thickness of the pattern decreases. Now this point is very obvious. If we have a thin pattern, a thin wax pattern, obviously there are more chances of distortion of such thin wax pattern under forces. So the distortion is inversely proportional to the thickness of the wax pattern. So thinner the wax pattern, more there are chances that it may get distorted. Generally, this distortion of the wax pattern is not a very serious problem, and we cannot do much to control it rather than just following the proper techniques and handling the wax pattern with care. Next, we'll be talking about the next type of defect, that is roughness. Now roughness is a finely spaced surface imperfection. So when we say roughness, roughness means the surface imperfections. Now at this point you should remember how our wax pattern was invested in the investment. So we had the investment that we used to create the mold, and this investment is made up of particles. So these particles, they create a kind of roughness on the mold surface. So if the investment has bigger particles, it's obvious that these bigger particles will show up as a roughness on the mold, and this roughness will then be reflected on the casting. So it's simple. Roughness is a relatively finely spaced surface imperfections, and they establish a predominant surface pattern. That means it is seen throughout the surface of the casting, and usually it is due to the particle size of the investment. And now, since it is the particle size of the investment, we cannot do much technically to avoid it, but yes, it can be minimized if we use a proper technique, proper mixing of investment and proper handling of the investment, of course. Now, as we had been talking about surface roughness, we have to compare the term surface roughness with surface irregularities. One very important thing is, we discussed about surface roughness that was evenly distributed throughout the surface of the casting. But when we talk about surface irregularities, these are isolated defects. So if this is the surface of the casting, we may have one defect, we may have two defects, and these are called as irregularities. So that is a basic difference when we say roughness versus irregularity. Irregularity is an isolated imperfection such as nodules, and they are not the characteristic of the entire surface areas. So let's move on and see some of these irregularities which are very commonly seen on the surface of the casting. So the first one of these irregularities is the air bubble. These air bubbles which are present in the investment, or which are present on the surface of the wax pattern, they result in formation of these nodules. So again, as simple as that, you have a wax pattern, and on the wax pattern you have a small air bubble. Now when we invest this wax pattern in the investment, what will happen is, this air bubble will prevent the contact of the investment to the wax pattern. Now when we get a mold cavity, once the wax is burnt out, we will obviously get a mold cavity that will have this kind of configuration because of that particular air bubble that created this shape. Now in this kind of a mold cavity, when we put the metal, obviously metal flows into this space that is created by the air bubble, and once we get a casting will have a nodule on it. So this nodule is caused because of the presence of air bubbles on the wax pattern. Now if this air bubble is in some non-critical areas wherein we can just cut it off and polish the casting, that's fine, but sometimes this may be present in critical areas in the fitting surface and it may result in altered fitting of the casting. Now how do we prevent these nodules? As obvious, nodules can be prevented by reducing the air bubbles on the pattern. So how can we reduce the air bubble is by using a mechanical mixer with a vibrator. So these vibrations will help to remove or move out the air bubbles. Further, we can use a wetting agent. So if we put the wetting agent on the wax pattern, this wetting agent will have the investment that we pour on the top contact the wax pattern thoroughly, so it will not leave the room for the air in there. But we have to be careful that the thickness of the wetting agent doesn't cause the defective surfacing itself. So this wetting agent has to be applied in very thin layer. Next we'll be talking about the water films on the surface of the wax pattern. Now this wax pattern, which is made up of wax of course, is repellent to water. So water has a tendency to form films, and occasionally this water film are reflected in the mold cavity and finally onto the surface of the casting like minute ridges or veins. This is a very important point and a very important MCQ. So if there is a water on the surface of the wax pattern, it could have come from the investment or may have been there on the wax pattern itself, but this water may be reflected in the casting as these minute ridges or veins. So herein we can see the reflection of the water film on the surface of the casting. So these are called as ridges or veins. Now what causes this water film or this kind of ridges or veins is if the pattern is slightly moved, jarred or vibrated, this may result in formation of such kinds of ridges. Or if the painting process, when the wax pattern is invested, the first step is painting of the investment material on the surface of the wax pattern, and if this process does not result in intimate contact of the investment with the wax pattern, the in-between space may result in formation of the water film or may result in formation of the veins and ridges in the later. Further, if there is too high liquid powder ratio of the investment, there is again a tendency of the formation of the water film which may form ridges or veins. This term ridges or veins is important because there are MCQs asked on that. And how do we prevent the formation of such kind of a gap or the water film? The main thing is using a proper technique, and we can use wetting agent as an aid to prevent such irregularities. So we saw the use of wetting agent in the prevention of nodule because of the air bubbles. Now we are seeing the use of wetting agent in the prevention of the formation of veins and ridges due to the water film. The next cause of a defective casting is a very rapid heating rate. Now if an investment during the burnout of wax process is heated very rapidly, it may result in cracking of the investment. This is especially true with gypsum investment materials, which is not very resistant to heating. So if there is cracks in the investment, so if this is the mold cavity and there are cracks in here, so when the molten metal comes in, it flows into the cracks and later we can see such fins on the surface of the casting. So such fins result due to cracking, and this cracking is usually the result of rapid heating. So that is about the formation of fins on the surface of the casting. And then another reason for the defective casting is underheating. Well, underheating may result in incomplete wax elimination. If the wax is not eliminated completely, there may be formation of an incomplete casting. Further, if there is residual burnout gases, if the burnout is not complete, there are some remaining gases inside the mold cavity. These gases may interact with the metal and they may cause porosities or they may cause tenacious residue on the casting. So that can happen due to underheating. Further, prolonged heating may also result in the defects, such as, if the investment is heated for too long, there may be disintegration of the investment, and this disintegration may result in roughness. Further, the disintegration products may cause contamination of the casting surface. So underheating and overheating both are not advisable. Okay, that was about the heating of the investment during the burnout process. There's one more thing that may damage the investment wall, that is the temperature of the alloy. Alloy which is molten in a crucible before it is put into the mold cavity, if the temperature of this alloy is too high, when this alloy goes into the mold cavity, it may damage the walls of the investment, and this damage to the walls of the investment can result in roughness, or if there is an isolated damage, it may also cause irregularity. Then one more point that may result in roughness is casting pressure. If the pressure by which the molten metal is flown into the mold cavity is too high, that may result in roughness on the casting surface. So the pressure that is advisable is 0.1 to 0.14 MPa in an air pressure casting machine, or it could be 3 to 4 turns of a spring in an average type of a centrifugal casting machine. So if we are using a centrifugal casting machine, 3 to 4 turns of the spring is advisable, or if we are using the air pressure casting machine, 0.1 to 0.14 MPa is the advisable gauge pressure. Now, presence of foreign bodies in either the molten metal or in the investment may result in irregularities, that is the isolated rough defects. Further, pattern position is again one of the very important characteristics. If we are investing multiple patterns in a single investment, we have to make sure that there is sufficient distance between the two wax patterns. If these two wax patterns are placed too close together, right, they may be cracking that may be seen in the investment between the two wax pattern. So if the space is less than 3 millimeters, the chances of cracking are high. Okay, now as we have seen about the irregularities and the surface roughness, we'll next move on to talk about the porosities. Porosities is one of the very important topic as far as MCQs is concerned. So first we'll be talking about the localized shrinkage porosities. As the name says, localized shrinkage porosities, these porosities, they result due to incomplete feeding of the molten metal. So what happens here? So we have our casting and our molten metal is flowing in our casting through a sprue. So once the molten metal comes inside the mold cavity, it solidifies. While it is solidifying, it shrinks. While this metal is solidifying and shrinking, continuous flow should be maintained from the sprue so that all the space that is created because of the shrinkage of this metal is filled by the extra metal. But if for some reason this flow of metal through the sprue is cut down, it will result in localized shrinkage porosity, and this porosity is very commonly seen in the area which is filled the last. So this is the area wherein very commonly the localized shrinkage porosity is seen. Now the basic reason is cutting down of this flow, and this could be because of the freezing of the sprue. So if the sprue freezes before the feeding is complete, porosity develops in the last portion of the casting that solidifies. Now this freezing of the sprue can be prevented by attaching some extra small sprues in the other areas of the casting. These smaller gauge sprues will solidify before the main sprue, and they will prevent the solidification of the main sprue. So that is how we can prevent the solidification of the sprue, and thus we can prevent the localized shrinkage porosities. There is a type of localized shrinkage porosity that is called as suckback porosity. Now while we had been discussing about the characteristics of sprue, we had been talking about the attachment of sprue in 45 degrees. A basic purpose was we did not want our sprue to be 90 degrees because if we had it 90 degrees it will hit on to the opposite wall. Now if the molten metal that is flowing inside the mold cavity, it hits onto the opposite wall, this wall gets heated and there is a hot spot created at this particular point, and this is the area that will solidify last. Now before, in the previous slide, we have seen that if the molten metal is not able to reach the area wherein the solidification takes place last, there will be a porosity remaining in that particular area. So because of this, the suck back porosity can occur in the areas wherein there is hot spot created. Now this is one is the impingement of the hot metal here in the mold wall. Secondly, if we have sharp line angles or something, those particular line angles are the areas wherein the hot spot are very commonly created. So this is the suck back porosity, which is a type of localized shrinkage porosity. Next, we'll move on to pinhole or gas inclusion porosities. Now, as the name says, these porosities are because of entrapment of gases during the solidification. Now, there are two types of sources of gases, gas inclusion. One is the gas which is present in the mold, or gas from the outside is incorporated into the molten metal. So, we have the molten metal, and that goes inside the mold. So when the molten metal goes inside the mold, whatever air is there, it may get mixed in the molten metal and it may result in porosity. This type of porosity is called as gas inclusion porosity. The other reason is the metal itself may have some gases released to form the bubbles, and if this gas doesn't get enough time to be released out of the metal body, it will result in small holes, that is pinhole porosities. So gas inclusion porosities and pinhole porosities are due to the entrapment of the gas inside the molten metal. Gas inclusion porosity is where an outside gas is mechanically entrapped inside the metal, and pinhole porosities are because of the release of internal gas inside the metal body substance. So all this can be prevented by pre-melting the alloy on graphite crucible, and this graphite crucible helps to reduce the formation of this kind of pinhole or gas inclusion porosities. Next we have a subsurface porosities. Now as we have seen how the gas can be formed inside the molten metal and this gas then comes out of the molten metal. Now when the molten metal, imagine this is a metal inside a container and this metal is solidifying. Now if it is forming some small bubbles which are trying to escape, and at the same time the surface layer it solidifies. So that means the simultaneous nucleation of the solid grain, the solidification nuclei and the gas bubbles are forming simultaneously. So gas bubbles are just about to escape, but the nuclei, the solidification, it prevents the escaping of the gas bubbles. So it results in formation of a porosity that is seen immediately below the surface. So that is subsurface porosity. So here in the sentence explains the scenario that simultaneous nucleation of the solid grain and the gas bubble, at the first moment the metal freezes at the mold wall. So metal that is in contact with the mold wall, it freezes, and at the same time gas bubble form just below the upper layer of the freezing metal, that results in subsurface porosity, and this can be prevented by controlling the rate of the entry of the metal inside the mold. And then we have one more variety of the porosities, that is the entrapped air or the back pressure porosity. And This is caused by inability of the air to escape. Now, while we had been talking about the sprue, we had been talking that our wax pattern should be positioned within 6 mm of the trailing end. We discussed this in our last video, because whenever the wax is burnt out, there are some residual gases inside the mold cavity. Now, when the molten metal comes in the mold cavity, these gases should escape out through this investment, which is supposedly porous. And if these gases fail to escape out, what they will create is, they will create a back pressure on the surface of the metal, and that will result in entrapped air or back pressure porosity. So back pressure porosity is caused because of inability of the air to escape from the mold, and the basic reason is our investment is either non-porous or our wax pattern is embedded too deep inside, so that the gas is not able to escape out through the investment. Right? So this can be prevented by proper technique, and the distance between the tip of the pattern and the end of the ring should not be greater than 6 mm, as we already saw. Further, sufficient casting pressure may help to drive out the gas. So that is one more way to prevent the entrapped air or back pressure porosity. Now, this particular chart will help us to understand the effect of certain technical consideration on the porosities. So, if we talk about the increase in the sprue thickness will reduce the localized shrinkage porosities, because of course it will not allow the sprue to solidify, it will prevent that, but it will increase the subsurface porosity. Further, localized shrinkage porosity, if we increase the sprue length, it will increase, just the opposite, but subsurface porosity will be reduced. Increasing the mold temperature will reduce the localized shrinkage porosity, but it will increase the subsurface porosities, while microporosity, they are reduced by increasing the mold and the melt temperature. This is a very important source of MCQs. Now, after the porosity, lastly we come to the incomplete casting. So, if for some reason our metal is not able to flow into these tiny sharp edges, it results in incomplete casting. This may be because of inadequate pressure, it may be because of incomplete wax elimination. And this incomplete casting will result in rounded corner and loss of the surface details. And to prevent that, of course, we have to use an adequate casting pressure and proper wax elimination technique that will help in preventing the incomplete casting. So with this, we summarize the defects of the casting, and this is one of the very important source of MCQs. I would recommend, this is the time you should go back and read the MCQs related to this particular topic to get the concepts more settled.